Hey guys, welcome to It's a Beautiful Day Out. My gosh, we're back up to the 80s, or getting there. We're gonna get close to the 80s. And I thought I'd just do a little writing and chatting video. I wanted to talk a little bit about handling your finances. I'm by far no expert, but I have grown up with little money. And I'm going to talk a little bit, how do you handle money when you don't have hardly any money? It's pretty much the way I grew up my life on it. A lot of things I probably will be saying you'll disagree, and some things you'll agree on and understand. And I watch a lot of people, how they handle money and how they get in the situations they're in, about the way their money finances are. You know, they get so deep in debt. My camera might be a little crooked, but that's the way I can't get it to mount any other way right now. But anyways, I grew up, and as a kid we had hardly any money. I didn't realize how many people had helped us out as a kid. I didn't realize that because I was a kid. I didn't know any better. And so, but as I got older, I learned, and as I got older and had my own jobs and that, I always found it a struggle to make good money. I made money. I always had a job, never not had a job. But a lot of times I just didn't make what seemed like other people were making. In order to have things, I had to do things a little different in order to have a little extra. So a lot of things, like, and I learned a lesson, like, say, let's just start with credit cards. I went in debt younger, and the only real debt I can ever remember having was on a credit card. I had wanted a nice big screen TV, and I had $2,000. That's what it cost to buy this TV, and I was convinced I can buy a television and put it on credit, pay for it later, and I get what I want. And so I went under that and made the minimum payment, got my television, enjoyed the television, and kept on paying. I always made my monthly payments, never missed one, never was late. And after about 2 years, I didn't pay a lot of attention, but one day I look at this statement, just out of curiosity. I still owed $2,000. I've been making a payment those 2 years and still owed the same thing. All that was just giving it away, giving it to the credit card. But see, I didn't realize that at first. I got a little older, I started paying attention, and a couple years later, and I saw that, and I go, well, I got to do something about that. I could be paying that probably today, many years later, and still owed the original $2,000. I watch a lot of people live on credit cards and use credit cards, and there's nothing wrong with them used properly. But if I continued at that, I was heading down this slope of always having a debt. And so then I made a vow, whatever I did, I'm going to get rid of that credit card. I owe no more on it. And so at that point, I didn't use it again. And I kept paying more than what the payment was to get that paid off. It's the only way you're going to get it paid off. And so after a while, I mean, you know, you might sell something and put that money towards that. Anytime you come up with some extra money, I can't remember how long it took me, but eventually I paid that off. I owed zero on that. And at that point, as far as credit cards, I made a vow that I was never going to charge nothing unless at the end of the month I could pay it in full. And to this day, I still use my credit card all the time, but every month it's paid in full. Zero balance every month. Pay no interest. Pay none. In fact, you get a lot of points for cards nowadays, and they send me money back. They give me money back on that, and I can use that to buy a couple extra things. So now I'm ahead. Instead of paying them, they pay me. So that's one thing. And if you have a credit card debt, the thing you can do is look for a card that charges you zero interest. There's some of them out there, not a lot, but there is some out there. And do whatever you have to do to get all your credit cards down to zero balance. Never use those cards unless you can pay it off at the end of the month, and you'll be ahead. In fact, you'll maybe make a little money on it for your purchases. So that's one big thing that you can do to keep your debt down. I realized when I retired how little money I had made all my life. And the Social Security will kind of go analyze all your stuff for you. And so I make a very, very low Social Security because I was self-employed most of my life. I had just enough that I did qualify for a little bit. So, but they told me I was 135% below poverty because the largest I ever made was $13,000 in 1 year of working all my life. And I worked hard. I worked every day. I didn't miss work. You know, I wasn't a deadbeat. And so at that point I said, I didn't realize I was that poor. But just naturally throughout my life, there was little things I did that I didn't spend money, like get gasoline, which you gotta have gas in your car, to go in the store and get a cup of coffee or a soda or a snack. I didn't do that. This all costs you a lot of money to do all that. And that's something I never did. So that was money I've saved all my life. And the other thing that I had did was a lot of traffic right here. Cars coming everywhere. Got to be careful. I got a new mirror coming for this. It should be helpful. So anyways, so I saved a lot of money by not doing these snacks, you know, stop at McDonald's and get a burger and all those things that a lot of people love to do, and they're fun to do, but they cost you a lot of extra money. Go out to eat. I didn't go out to eat too often. I'm not gonna say I never did, but not a lot. I didn't go out to eat and save myself some money. Clothing is a big thing. A lot of people I've never had fancy clothes. I don't really care about fancy clothes. I generally kept my clothes, my shoes. I kept all that until they were completely wore out. And in fact, I've got clothes now that's probably, I bet they're 30, 40 years old that I still wear. I just don't go out and buy clothes. And when I say wore out, a lot of my clothes have holes in it. They're almost rags when I'm done with it. But you know, I didn't care. I didn't care if I had this fancy clothes or anything. That wasn't a priority for me. And so I saved a lot of money. Clothes are expensive, very expensive. I don't have to be in that fashion thing. I don't have to look like someone else, you know. And so I never did that. Saved a lot of money that way. This next thing, most people will disagree with me. And they can or cannot. They don't have to agree with me. I never went to the doctor. I'm just getting ready to turn 70 years old. I can remember 3 trips to the doctor. All 3 were a waste of money. They didn't do nothing. And I know a lot of people use the doctors a lot. And a lot of people will tell me, says, oh, no, you've got to. You've got to go. You've got to have your checkups. You know, you've got to. You'll die. You know, you got to have those prescriptions. I never had prescriptions. You got to. I never did. And to this day, I still don't. I remember going to the dentist twice, had such bad toothaches I couldn't stand it. Hated to, but I did go to that. And so that was money I had to spend, but it wasn't what it is nowadays. Oh my God, what it costs. So, and I know biggest percentage will totally disagree with me. Well, I got to go to the doctor. What if? What if? What if? Well, I have the best doctor that you can find, and that's Jesus Christ. I have a huge faith. I have probably more faith than a lot of people, but that's not a bragging, I just do. And every time I need something or have an ache or pain, I ask Jesus for his help and ask him to take care of that. And coming up on 70 years old, he always has. I've never had nothing I can get by. I have aches and pains. I have a lot of aches and pains that most people would be the doctor or in the hospital, done this and done that. I don't feel you need to. All you need is faith in your Lord Jesus, and he'll take care of it every time. Guarantee every time. Have faith. So that's one big thing that I never spent money on. And I wasn't left out. I had fancy things. You know, I mean, I've had motorcycles all my life and this gadget to play with, but I never bought nothing that I didn't have the cash in my hand that I can pay for. I still do that to this day. I've always done that. I don't make debts and credits, and I just never have, never will do that. I didn't have a new car, and I'm not going to say I've had new cars, and I've had a loan on a car, and that wasn't profitable. It's like I even made a vow at a certain point I would no longer be in debt for a car, and I haven't been. I drove old cars, old reliable cars. You know, what I would spend in repairs sometimes was far less than what one monthly payment would be for a brand new car payment. And so I never had those, never had cars that I had big debts and stuff on. Little doggy here. I love little doggies. Here he comes. No, he's locked in good. He can't get out. So anyways, so cars is another one that people can get caught up in having cars. And the newest things I've seen is a lease. This is dog central right here. We got a lot of dogs. It's like I don't have dogs of my own. I got 2 big noisy ones or 2 little noisy ones. This one here always comes. I think it's pretty harmless, but it loves to come up and see me go by. How you doing?
Beautiful out here.
It's gorgeous. You can't beat it. I'm just riding by. I don't pedal. I've never been an athletic person. These e-bikes are great. And we've been able to pay cash for these too. So anyways, that's cars and the leases, like I said, that's what I was left off at. And the leases, you pay them, you give them a huge down payment, and you pay them, and after a certain length of time, whatever the lease is, you give it back to them, and you still have nothing for all that you've paid them. And so I don't know how people get into those. I call those a legal scam, you know, because I don't get that. I just don't understand that, the lease concept. Well, I want a brand new car. That's what a lot of people, I want a brand new car. I don't want to drive an old car. I want a reliable car. Well, you can buy an old car that's reliable, but it's not pretty and fancy like all the new ones, all the new gadgets. I love gadgets, you know me, I'm the nerd of gadgets, so. But anyways, that's another scam, that you can still have things. And vacations, there's another big money spent on vacations. People want to go to Disney. Well, it costs a fortune to go to Disney, and they'll put it on the credit card, and they'll be paying that for years and years and years and years for that 1 week vacation at the Magic Kingdom. And it's not that I'm putting down the Magic Kingdom, it's just the fact is it's way over expensive, way overpriced, and a lot of people are paying for that many times over. So I did take vacations. I was into dirt track racing. I loved that as a kid. And when I grew up older, I hung around the racetrack all the time. And the way I went as a kid, the neighbors would say, hey, you guys mow the yard. I'll take you down to the races tonight. So I did that. So I got to go because I did a little work, and that's how I ended up getting to go to the races. And as I got a little older, I started working at the racetrack, and they paid me. I got so much money to spend at the racetrack. And my wife was working there too, and she got so much money. So what we got in the habit of doing is every dime we'd make every week at the racetrack, providing we didn't get rained out, we saved that. We threw that into fun. And generally, we had enough money to take a little vacation. We go to the beach or wherever we may go. We'd go on vacation, and the way that got paid for is the extra side work, which I didn't call it work. I loved being at the racetrack, and I loved doing things there, and I got paid for it. So I turned around and made a job was something fun. You know, that was something I enjoyed doing, so that's how I went on vacation. I didn't take a loan out to go on a vacation. That doesn't make sense. I went to Hawaii. That's not a cheap trip. Paid cash. I didn't take a loan out to go to Hawaii. So you see, I didn't really lose much. I wasn't neglected from doing stuff. You know, I got to do what a lot of people do, but I didn't go in debt. And grant you, I said my highest wage for a year was $13,000. In today's world, that's nothing. That's just, to me, was rich. When I tell I wasn't a rich person, everybody say, well, I wasn't either. But I look at what they made, you know, 30, 40, 50,000 a year. I call that rich, because it's just a matter of statistics. When you have very little, it doesn't take a lot of money that someone else makes that looks rich. But I still did. I did what they did. Maybe not to the extent. I didn't drive the brand new car, or I didn't have the nice fancy clothes, but I still had. I always ate. I ate pretty minorly at times. You know, ramen noodles was my go-to. You can buy them back then, like what, 13, 14 cents a pack? That was dinner. Could be supper, you know. So, you know, I ate, but I didn't eat fancy. I can't say I haven't in the past. Like the way that people go by. So anyways, I ate. I've never been, I was thin when I was younger, because I was just naturally thin. But I'm not starving. By no means am I starving. And today I do a lot better as I've gotten older. You know, house payments. I rented for a while, but then I did buy. My first real home I bought was a mobile home, bought it brand new. I think it was in '73, paid $4,800. I had a loan on it for a while, but I did pay it off. Lived in the same place for 14 years, and most of those years the mobile home was paid for. So I did have lot rent. Back then lot rent wasn't expensive. It was like $45 a month. That's what I paid in lot rent. So I did okay with that. But you see how different things you can do to live on little or nothing. And I know it because I grew up that way. I still do it to this day. That's the way I live. So, you know, a lot of people will tell me, oh, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. Well, sure you can. I don't want to do that. A lot of people don't want to give up stuff. I don't want to give my morning coffee. I don't want to. I like to stop and have my morning coffee. Go to Starbucks. You know what are those? I have not bought one. What, $5 a cup? I don't know. Is that what they are? That's a lot of money every day. 5 times 5 is $25 a month. That's $100 a week, and that's $100 a month. So that adds up. That really does on it. These are just all facts that I've showed you. It's things that anyone can do. The hardest thing is to be in debt and get out of debt. That's much harder. That's way harder. It's not an easy thing to do. Can be done. A lot of people will end up getting so far in debt they file bankruptcy and 11s. I don't know much about those, but I know a lot of people do that. Your credit goes down for a period, and then eventually you can get your credit back. I've seen people do it and get their credit back and end up in big debt again. It's not uncommon. But these are just some facts that I've lived with all my life, and it's worked out good for me. I said, I've never hurt. I've had toys and things I don't need. I've had motorcycles. You know, I wasn't new. Maybe one new car in my life. So, you know, things, you can be done. It's just, you have to do it. And I know a lot of people say, oh, I can't do that. And you know, I really believe a lot of people can't do it. But on the other hand, they can. So, anyways, I've been wanting to do a little video about this, and I hope it's helpful in any way to you. I know it's helped me, and so if you can do it, just some of the little things I described here. There's many other things that you can do to save a lot of money. These are just a few things I've done myself and thought I'd just share with you. So I guess that's about all I got to say about how to live good on a little money. You can do it. You know, I'm nothing special, and I did it. Some people said I'm tight. Well, you're not tight if you only have so much money and live in your means. That's not being tight. That's just being smart. All right, guys, I'll let you go. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, if you got any comments, leave the comments. I think Sue will answer the comments. I don't type, so I don't leave much comments back and forth. I read them. And so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Somebody over here is washing their car. That's a nice looking car, too. Let's see what kind of car that is. You probably didn't be able to see it on the camera, but it's an older one. Those things are worth some money. They're an investment. So anyways, like, subscribe, leave a question. We thank you guys for watching. We'll see you the next time. Have a good one.